All right, well, welcome back to Let's Talk Foster Care. I'm Heather.
And I'm Katie.
And today we are super excited just to share about what we do as recruiters and how we can get you to make that next step and call us.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny, I had somebody say to me one time, a recruiter, like, what does that mean? Like, I think in their brain it was like an army recruiter, like, here we are. And
well, we are recruiting
it's
our
our army.
Yes.
Foster parents.
Really, in our position as recruiters, it's all over the place. But truly, it's our passion of sharing the need for more foster families, where we have the opportunity to share in churches and communities and really, truly just get the call of action. What are the next steps?
Absolutely. And that's it. You know, we want to share the need, and we do have a passion, both of us, to see families step into this. But we also want to share that in a way where families start to understand how to take this in smaller, manageable chunks, because it is overwhelming and there is a lot of need. There's a lot to getting licensed itself. And so we have a passion to both, to see the need get out there, but also to really connect with those families that have a heart for this and to say, how can we help you get to those next steps?
So we also use story brands, is what we call them, to just kind of start sharing, whether that would be when we speak at churches or if we're out in the communities or on our social media. And one of my favorites is Fostering Through Faith, because to step into the world of foster care, you do have to be fueled by that faith. That faith, it's going to be okay through the heartache, through the happiness, through the unknowns. And I often refer back to the verse James 1:27, and that is where we are called to care for the widows and the orphans.
The other thing that I love in the Fostering with Faith is we say all the time, as we've already said in this series, you need to trust the Lord with your heart. You need to trust the Lord with the hearts of those kiddos in your home, all of them. And really that is that same faith element. You're taking that same step of faith as you continue to bring kiddos into your home.
Yeah. And so we don't always have the opportunity to speak in churches, but we love to. And usually we just ask to take 5 to 7 minutes to share about who we are and just to let families know that they have someone that they can call if they have felt drawn to step into foster care. And a lot of times we'll just sit in the lobby and have our materials and be ready and willing to answer the questions that you may have. So if you attend a church and conversation has been brought up about foster care, we would love for you to share our names or give us a call, because we would love to come and just, be present to answer those questions. And because, again, we talk about support. 1, you got to have an agency that supports you, but 2, having a village, having an army that's behind you to support you and help walk you through this is so very important.
And it's really neat, some of those conversations that you get at the back table, because we're not always able to share in every service, which makes sense. There are churches that just don't have the capacity to offer that to us. But then even if we're just in the back, we just get to have some of the neatest conversation at those tables. People who just need to share their story sometimes, or people who really have had this on their hearts for a while and they just aren't sure how to move forward in it. And so it is just a really precious time. I know one of our favorite parts of the job
is just connecting and engaging with families. There was a time that I had this older gentleman come up to me and let me know that him and his wife had fostered 18 children. And it was just so touching. He said, that he still has contact with a lot of those kiddos, but to him, it meant so much that his church was having our agency come in to share the need, and that there was an agency out there that that it was just recruiting and sharing the need, because he said that him and his wife were called to do this. And that to me was beautiful. It was just so beautiful for him to remember all the lives that he touched. And again, though, he said they touched his life more than what he could have done for them. And so that to me is beautiful.
Absolutely. We also had, I had a lady come up to me at one of the churches I was at, almost in tears. And she just said, I've had this on my heart for a while, but the options that I knew weren't ones I felt comfortable stepping into. And she said, I've just been praying for a private agency, a Christian agency that we could do this with. And she said, I know we have some ducks we need to get in a row. She said, but, I'm bringing my husband over. And they did come back and stay for an hour after church, and we talked more. And she said, all right, now we've got the motivation. We're going to get those ducks in a row. And we talk during service, and we're going to, in a year, we're going to be ready. And you keep in touch with us. And I think it is so motivating when you find that support that you're looking for.
I love that you said in a year, because, I know when I first started this 9.5 years ago, I would go to churches and I would speak with families and nobody would call, or they wouldn't go to our website, inquire. And I thought, oh goodness, what am I doing wrong? Or I'm just not good at this. But I have actually had people come to us 2 and 3 years later and say, hey, I heard you speak at the church, or I met you at this church. And it just was like, it really did, because this is planting seeds. This is such a huge decision. We don't expect the first time that you hear about Courage, or you meet with us, or you hear us speak at church or on our socials, that tomorrow you're going to sign up to be a foster parent. This is a process, and we understand that. And we want to help you through that process. It may not be tomorrow, but that, again, we have 8 pre-service classes planned for 2026. So this may be the first time you're hearing about it. I have always said it takes 7 times. 7 times. Maybe you meet a family. Maybe you hear it in church. Maybe you meet a foster kiddo that plants that seed in your heart. But just reaching out and asking those questions, and let us help you. And I have honestly had people reach out to me that we may not be the right agency for them for one reason or another. I don't just say, I'm sorry, we can't help you. I provide other agencies or other avenues that you can go, because you know what? Again, we are all in this for the same reason, whether it's a county or a private agency. We want to help you. We want to walk this journey with you, because we want to provide these safe and loving homes for kiddos and their families.
Absolutely. And I think it's key that you said, we are not expecting you to sign up at the table and be at our next pre-service in 3 weeks. We understand that this is a commitment and this is a process. You might literally just put your name on a card and barely say a word to us, and we send you an email, and it just gives you a little more information, connects you to our website, and we don't hear from you again for 6 months, or you don't hear from us again
or you may decide it's not the right thing for you, but you end up having a conversation with somebody that is looking for an agency, and you can share that.
Yeah.
And again, there's been so many times that, we have spoken at churches, or people come talk with us and they say, oh, there's no way I could foster. And then that's when we can also step in and say, but there's other ways to help. And the most important thing is to keep them in your prayers. Pray for those families, pray for the bio families, and pray for the kiddos and our foster families.